Okay, so we're practicing the law of cosines. Okay, so I've been asking you while we've been doing the law of sines to set up all of our problems in this format, where it has the angle measure and the side length set up like this. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the information that I have. So I know angle A is 23 degrees. I know side B is 35 and side C is 17. The whole point of having you write it down this way is because it basically sets up in your law of sines to see if you have a ratio to use. So this is like, since we use sine A over side A, or sine B divided by sine B. So this will tell me, do I have a full ratio to the law of sines? Well, I don't. Not to mention, this is the side angle side case, so we have to use the law of cosines. Okay? Because I don't have a ratio to even set up our law of sines. So I start off by finding side A. So the equation is a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine angle A. Okay, so that's my equation. And now at this point you just plug the numbers that you have, plug it in. So A is going to be equal to the square root of 35 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 times 35 times 17 times the cosine of 23 degrees. Okay, make sure you use cosine. One of the biggest mistakes my students make is putting in sine. Okay, so you plug that into your calculator, and A is approximately 20.459, yada yada yada. So side A is 20.5. Okay? And I should write that in red because that's one of my solution answers. So 20.5. Now that I have a ratio, I can start doing law of sines. So I'm going to come over here, and since I have sine of 23 over 20.5 equals the sine of b over 35. And now we just do our cross multiplying our law of sines. So b equals sine -1, and it'll be 35 times the sine of 23 over 20.5. And you find that b is approximately 41.944. Okay, so now I know this is 41.944. Okay, and then you add the two together to find C, subtract it from 180, so you get 115.1 degrees. Okay, now here's the problem. As soon as I look at my answers, they don't make any sense, because angle B has the biggest side. At 35, it should have the biggest angle. It's only 41, where 17 is the smallest side. Why does it have the biggest angle? And this is one of the problems that you're going to run into when you do the law of cosines and then switch to the law of sines. Angle B is actually an obtuse angle. We cannot solve for angle B first. This is going to be wrong. Okay? Because angle B is actually going to be in the second quadrant. So I have to start with angle C first. Okay, so when you switch, you actually have to start with the smallest one first. We're going to have to start with this one. So sine of 23 over 20.5 equals the sine of C over 17. And we're going to do the same thing. It's still going to be angle C is equal to sine -1. This is 17 times the sine of 23 over 20.5. So angle C is approximately 18.944 degrees. And there's some yada yada yada. So this is 18.9. And now we can actually do subtracting it, and you find that angle B is 138.1 degrees. And this makes more sense, okay? Because we had gotten the 41.944, and that is in the first quadrant. Because remember, arcsine, this right here will only give you back values from the first and the fourth quadrant. So it'll give me the angle measure from the first quadrant, but not this one from the second that we need. So whenever you're switching from law of cosines to law of sines, make sure that you're actually starting with the smallest side of the two that you have to do. So since we had 35 and 17, we would start with the 17 first, just in case one of our angles happened to be an obtuse angle that we were finding.